much. Are there any questions for Dr. Mashad? Your question got answered? Okay. If you have a question, you may ask it.
One was, do we know how much it's going to cost for us to explore the options? I know we're saving money.
It was in the tens of thousands, like maybe 30,000 something. So one thing about this, and I don't know the exact number, at least offhand. Maybe Mrs. Davis can find it quickly. The reason this makes sense to go out to the bond market full again incurs a lot of fees. With the amount that is left that we would need to essentially, refinance, if you will, it's around $10 million, and you can do that through a different bond process called private placement, which is a little more streamlined, and it generally saves a lot of those fees and costs with going back to the broader bond market. So in terms of cost savings, it was exponentially less than the $875,000 that we would save over time. I don't know what the exact number was, if you got it, not a big deal. We can look it up too.
Yeah, I don't have the exact number with me, but that $875,000 is the gross savings after any cost of issuance.
Okay.
So as Mr. Michaud was saying, the bond sale was a little bit different than what we have seen traditionally here. We would do what's called a private placement. And by doing it that way, we do save some costs related to issuance. So when we go out to the full bond market, we have to get a ratings review by Moody's. That typically costs $25,000 to do that. So we would not have to do that with this type of bond sale. So the cost of issuance is a little bit less than what we typically would see. We won't have the cost of an underwriter, for example, as well. That we kind of skip that whole process. So again, the $875,000 is the estimated gross savings after that cost of issuance.
Can I ask her one more question while we got her up here? Because that's why I pulled it out. I figured we'd bring Julie. The other was, do we know, what was the interest rate in 2014, and what do you project that while you're shopping around now, what the interest rate would be now?
Yeah. So the interest rate on the 2014 series varied. It just kind of depends on the year of payment, and that's pretty typical when you go out to the bond market and you sell the bonds. It's usually not one set rate, so say 2%, right? It's not for the life of the bonds for the 15 years, it's 2%. It just varies on the year of maturity. So in this particular case, the years that we're talking about, 27, 28, and 29, the interest rate on those bonds that we have right now are about 4%. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion on these items? Okay, and Mrs. DeBoer, do you still want to have that pulled out separately, or do you want to consider it all together now? Okay, terrific. All right, then may I have we need a roll call vote. Dr. Rashad?
Yes.
Mrs. Niemeyer? Yes. Mrs. DeBoer? Yes. Ms. Funk? Yes. Ms. Cobell? Yes. Dr. Paulson? Yes. Mrs. Tryon, yes. All right, thank you very much. We are now up to the superintendent's report. Reminder, this is the last call for comment cards. They will be picked up as soon as the superintendent report is done.
I'll cover the human resources also. I don't know if Mr. Kimball is here this evening. Ryan? Oh, good. Thank you. Could you keep standing so I can introduce you? It's my pleasure to introduce Ryan Kimball. He is our new Director of Security and Safety, and he joined us starting just a couple weeks ago now, right? Like 3 weeks maybe at most, and he's up and running, meeting staff and visiting all the buildings, and we're excited to have him on board. He has a wealth of experience with security issues, with big events, and so I think he'll bring a lot of experience and expertise to us in this district. So welcome aboard, Ryan. We're excited to have you. My report is what you've been hearing this whole evening is a huge thank you to the community for their incredible support of the bond and the operation Village. It speaks volumes for the community and their commitment to public education and the work that we do here, and it will serve our district for many, many years. So thank you. I know it was a lot of work on behalf of the board and the administrative team and our our community. So thank you very much, appreciate it. Thanksgiving break is coming up, and everyone is excited about that and looking forward to it. So I wish everyone a great Thanksgiving. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Board communications. Okay, well, I thought I would share with everyone that last weekend was the Michigan Association of School Boards Annual Leadership Conference. And this was held in Lansing. The conference was full of Board of Education members from all over the state, UP, LP, the whole shebang, and also superintendents from all over the state as well. And so Mrs. Niemeyer and Dr. Mashaw, Dr. Fossen, and myself attended this conference. And I think it's safe to say that we all thoroughly enjoyed this, and it was very educational. Long days, but lots of great stuff to learn. Let's see, it was 3 days of sessions and accredited classes that we took, covering a wide range of education topics, from the fundamentals on curriculum, finance, policy, hiring a new superintendent, overseeing the superintendency, but also other topics that are also important, like safety, communications, staff retention, trends in technology, and all day long we were taking in this excellent information. So happy to bring it back to our school district and put those new lessons right into play. Thank you very much. Yeah, I thought it was great. You look like you were going to say something.
I was just going to say I got so many questions as a new member, and it was fabulous, and I will be sending all of those to you, Kristen, so look forward to all those questions coming. But it was very exciting, and I think the things I took away, I mean, there was so much on policy and law and third grade reading, but what I took away was just how important culture and belonging is in a school district, and I think that we have such an opportunity here to do that. So yeah, I'm very happy I went. Thank you.
Well, and I was going to say, I was texting those who went and said, I just need to know that you're having fun or feeling fulfilled or satisfied. And after about 36 hours, I'm like, hello. And I got just oodles and oodles of excitement and thumbs up. So I'm thrilled you guys went. I know it's a long day. We didn't used to do this. I think this is our 3rd year that we've done it. And I'm thrilled that you guys find it worthwhile. I know you had lunch with Linda one day, and it's just nice to know who else is in our community to be able to compare notes with and know how things work with other districts. So I'm thrilled you went, and I love that you got so much out of it. Thank you.
Well, another excellent aspect of it is that we get to just have time to network with board members from around the state and superintendents and learn what's working well, what isn't working well. I love, Mallory, that you brought up culture and belonging in particular, because as we're seeing, that is a real thorn in the side of teacher retention right now, and it's a piece that districts all around the state, all around the country really, are trying to figure out how they can, have a more welcoming, inclusive environment that draws teachers in, retains teachers, but also trickles right down to students, and seeing that culture throughout the building and bringing people back together.
Absolutely. And networking, that was another big one. We're going to be hiring a new superintendent, and most importantly, we're going to be orienting them to our district. And I attended a session with a superintendent who had been a new superintendent a few years ago, and they led that session. And there were board members and superintendents in there, so hearing their feedback of what was helpful and what they hoped from a board was very educational as we're going to go through this. So.
I'm just curious, have you all done CBA 101 virtually or otherwise? Has everybody done that? Still, so worthwhile, right? Awesome. Okay, I mean, you've done finance, right? I mean, it's just an idea, as we know. I pushed a little bit, and I just consider that idea of whether you want the certification or not. Every one of those, I think there's 8 classes in the first series, might be worth, as you heard, exposing us to, even if it's piecemeal. If some do some and some do others, right?
Well, one of the things we took away that we kind of discussed in very brief, that maybe we talk about as a group, on a future date, is the idea of an ongoing learning expectation that we've never really had, doesn't sound like, but that there's, learning is one of our values, and that should apply to us too, I think, personally. We're taking these classes that really do a nice job of teaching on all kinds of subjects related to this position. that there could be an annual expectation to do more of that, or certainly within their first year, or something like that, then we could put a little more structure to that, so maybe we consider something like that in the future too.
Yes, I think that honestly, it should be an expectation of school board members that we want to learn these things. I mean, I sat through 3 straight hours of overseeing the superintendency, CBA 303, and I loved it. I mean, this is what helps guide us into what we do here. And I think that's important also for the community to know how dedicated we are to our learning, and we want to be excellent board members for you and for one another.
Yeah, but it's nice that the classes that they offer aren't just you have to go and sit for half a day somewhere, that they're available online. Some of them are available online, so you can take them here and there. I know that there's a virtual session over 3 days coming up in early December. So like 7th, 8th, and 9th or something like that. 3 hours of classes every night, so take a look at those if anybody's interested.
Sorry, one of my only other takeaways was a team building kind of day for a couple days a year for the board, so we can come together and be a team, but also get some education in there too, discuss different things about policy and whatnot. Obviously that would all be public, but having a day to come together and really do a lot of this stuff, I'd be interested in.
Yeah, I think there are lots of different opportunities for things like that for us to continue to learn and grow and learn to work together. I think that's really important, especially as we're about to bring on a new superintendent.
And we did that, what was it, 2 summers ago, we did our self-assessment. It was only about 3 hours, but self-assessment isn't just good or bad. It kind of jumps into all the issues that are coming up and the perceptions and perspectives and what that should entail in the upcoming year. So, yes, great idea, Mallory, and you guys are making my day.
I had something not about the conference. I went to Student Advisory Council, is that October, Mary? October, yeah. Well, but I went to the one in October. And I just wanted, so at that particular meeting, we talked a lot about the students, college planning, college application, college counseling, and just all of their feelings surrounding that whole process. And one of the things that I really took away from that particular Student Advisory Council meeting, and I don't know if it's because I now also have a high schooler and so I see this firsthand, but our kids are incredibly hard workers. We have high school students who are taking 5 or 6 AP classes at a time. That is a tremendous amount of work. And at the same time, they might have a part-time job, or they're also in extracurricular activities. Many of our students are, because there are so many for them to pick from. They are working so hard, and they feel that pressure, but they are still working so hard. And I don't know if they hear enough that we see how hard they're working. And I think it's very important that when we have a venue like this, and a platform like this, that it is very publicly known that we acknowledge that hard work. I'm just really proud of them. I could feel that stress in a lot of them. I see that stress at my own kitchen table. And so I just wanted to make sure that that was on public record, that I see how hard our kids work, and I'm really proud of that, and I'm really proud of the district for providing them the opportunity to work that hard. Additionally, speaking of hard work, I attended the production of Matilda this weekend from Northern, and it was fantastic. I brought about 6 little kids with me, and they all loved it. It was a huge cast, so a lot of work, choreography, and getting all those kids where they're supposed to be at the right time. I'm sure that a lot of those kids feel sad that production is over. I know it's kind of a letdown when those things end, when they've been so fulfilling and rewarding. But I'm just really thankful that I have the chance to bring my kids and all the Delta District kids to productions like this. And I'm looking forward to Little Mermaid in the winter.
I can't help but throw out a little something to say Dave Howard, excellent work, because I too have directed musicals and I know what that's like. So yay for you, but yay for the kids who were in that show. They were phenomenal.
You know what, I'm glad you brought up the October meeting. Just so you all know, the idea was to bring kids together to interact with the superintendent about issues related to the vision. And obviously a vision in our community for a long time has been rethinking the secondary classroom experience, maybe shift more towards 21st century skills versus reading, writing, arithmetic, and traditional college prep learning. October, we took advantage of the opportunity because they still will throw a lot of things in the hat that maybe are not superintendent related. They might be more building specific. So we invite our high school administrators. And I met with the kids and said, what are the priority issues that you see in this group wanting to discuss? And it kind of broke my heart because right before academia and rigor was emotional health. And we probably spent a half hour talking about how they are hurting, they're worried about each other, they're worried about themselves. And then of course we shift right into, but most of us are taking 6 AP classes. And one of us at the table maybe had a little bit of a reaction to that. So it's just an awareness to make sure we find that balance because, you know, I also help run that college panel in the fall, and most of these college admissions counselors will tell you there was a statistic one time that 85% of U of M's applicants had over a 4 and over, I'm old, a 30 on the ACT. Kids get into colleges because of what they can bring to the table, how they differentiate themselves, something that catches each other's eye, and it's not going to be that they're going to have emotional failure when they're in college. So just as we play with vision and play with doing what's best for kids, I'm so glad you brought that up because it was such a interesting experience to see their two priorities. People were so stressed and so worried, but we are busting butt. And seniors taking 6 AP classes, you're all too young, but that's unheard of. I mean, my kids didn't do that for sure. 1 or 2 because they're going to go off to college, and colleges, a lot of them don't even ask for 7th semester grades, let alone 8. So thank you for bringing that up.
Well, and I can't help but add to when we're talking about seniors taking 5, 6 AP classes, that we have freshmen taking AP classes in this district as well. So that's all the way down to the lowest grade level there.
Yeah, excellent. I just have a quick update from the foundation about the gala that occurred a couple of weeks ago. A few of us were able to attend. The numbers are pretty impressive. The gala raised almost $135,000 in a night, which goes, again, directly dollar for dollar back to the schools. This gala goes to the Foundation's Support Our Schools initiative, which is separate from the typical grant process that comes from the classrooms and the educators or specific places. This is a buildings initiative that all the principals and building administrators get to weigh in and say, these are the things we need in our building, these are some of the things that would help enhance education in our specific place. And so all $135,000 will go back to those requests from principals, curriculum development, accessible play material for special education students, mental health supports, other innovative programs, just to name a few. So it was a fun night, successful night. Again, the community that we have, we can continue to speak volumes about their support, I think, for this district and for these kids, which is great. If anybody ever wants to learn more about the foundation, get involved with the foundation, FHPSF.org, and that's all.
Okay, and I just wanted to add one little plug. I know we saw the presentation about what's coming next for the bond. I want to thank all of the board members who answered questions and passed along questions and promoted the bond and with the community. It's going to do really great things for our kids, so thank you.
Do we want to say anything about the superintendent search and where we are in this?
Oh, superintendent search, yes. Oh, good call. Because yes, we are already working on the superintendent search. The survey link on the website is already out, so all community members have the opportunity to go to FHPS.net and click the button that will take you right to the survey. Additionally, there are several focus groups that are going to be happening in early December. Those invitations to those stakeholders that are PTO members, athletic boosters, academic boosters, all kinds of different groups within the community have a chance to come in together and do focus groups directly with our superintendent search firm, MLI. The survey is open until, I can't remember the date, December 3rd, December 8th. Okay, December 8th at 3 p.m. I remember there's a 3 in there. So make sure you let everybody in the community know to go out and fill that survey out.
And again, the point of the work happening right now is to talk about the desired qualities and characteristics of this person, right? How we assess the community that we have, the needs that we have, kind of trying to shape the profile of the person we're going to try to look for.
Right, yeah, sort of, what are some aspects that you think are very important for a superintendent to have? What are some aspects that you're particularly proud of or unique about the school district? All those kinds of things that will be used to go out and try to find the right next person.
Well, and obviously our facilitator, Dave Killips, will, with his wealth of experience, be overseeing those and has specific questions. He'll ask the same things to everybody and try to see how that compares among groups. And a thank you to Mrs. Clements, because I'm very proud of a board when we were asked to generate a list of groups or community members or whatnot that should be part of this. I'm like, there's no way you're gonna get these 60 or 70 groups into 3 days, and she did. So thank you, because our community will be very well represented, and a lot of people had a chance to participate in that discussion. So thank you.
Was there really 60 or 70 different groups? Is that what we came up with? Yeah, that we came up with, okay.
Yes, there was a lot of logistical jiggling and puzzle fitting, and you did a great job on that. All right. Any other board communication?